And welcome everyone listening tonight and watching on YouTube Live. I am John Kelly at Enterprise Center in St. Louis, along with my partners tonight, Darren Pang, of course, from Fox Sports Midwest and the Blues, and the St. Louisan, the great Joey Vitale. Tonight, the Blues will have a scrimmage, a blue and white game, their second scrimmage of the training camp. Of course, the Blues open the season Wednesday night in Colorado against the Avalanche. But, gentlemen, this is my first time back at Enterprise Center since the Blues' last home game last March 9th against the Florida Panthers. Guys, it's great to be back and great to see you both.
Yeah, it is great to be back alongside Joe and yourself, John, and just, making that drive down here and kind of eerie. I mean, no traffic. You're driving in, you park and come into the building, and it's an empty building, but it's ready to go. And the ice looks fantastic, Joey. As we look down here from the broadcast position on the radio side, I think that watching over at Centene and seeing the players up a little bit closer, seeing the way that they've worked, I've been really impressed with how quickly these guys jumped into. I'm not saying they're at the very top of their game right now, but boy, their execution, their practice, their intensity has been incredible.
Well, from a building standpoint, John and Darren, like you just said, it's a step in the right direction. Certainly an empty building, it does feel weird, but it is a good step. And from what I understand, I think the Blues are going to try to fit 300-ish people in this building come Monday for their first home game, so that will be another step in the right direction. But, yeah, it's great to be in this building. It's great to see the blue and the white going after it. And Darren, to your point about the intensity, I was blown away at Centene. We saw McKenzie run over Sammy Blay in that first shift. We saw Dunn getting involved with Kyle Clifford after the whistle. I mean, there was some hostility there, and I think this head coach, I think he wants these guys going on another level as quickly as possible because, as everyone knows in this league right now, if you get off to a slow start, you're going to be doomed. So, it's another step in the right direction as far as getting this last scrimmage out of the way and moving in the right direction.
And, gentlemen, one thing that head coach Craig Berube has done since the first day of training camp, he's put his groups together, his lines together, and for the most part, the lines have remained intact. And, Darren, we're going to see the lines you'll see Wednesday in this game tonight.
Well, that's what I love that about Craig Berube. They look at it as a coaching staff and the management led by Doug Armstrong and Al McGinnis, I'm sure, and they sit back and they throw some numbers out. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? And then they came up with some decisions based on the fact that at this point there is no Vladimir Tarasenko. Mike Hoffman is on a PTO. The expectation is that Doug Armstrong is going to be able to get under that cap number and be able to make a deal right there. Now, going forward, the only alterations since day one at camp has been a couple of defensemen flip-flopped here or there. The line combinations from day one are identical. And that – that tells me the importance of getting up and running right away. It tells me the importance of, okay, here's your guys. Here's what you're going to do. Here's how you're going to play. Let's go. And let's get to our game really quick. I think the players appreciate that. And I've seen some of the lines start slow and find their groove now because there's no options. Craig Berube's not an option guy. This is what I like right now, so let's get it done.
You're right, Darren. I mean, there's no tinkering. Every main camp you're used to seeing so many different line combinations, but I think that goes to the point of they need this season to start, and they need it to start in the right direction, and he's not going to mess around with having players going and try a line with this or a game with that. It's just get in and figure these lines out as quickly as possible. This is the group I feel trusted with, and to me, Darren, the biggest surprise, and John, you as well, has been Jordan Kyrou. Having him start on that third line in that position, and he has not been taken away, and it looks like he's going to get another start here tonight on that third line with Tyler Bozak and Zach Sanford.
Yeah, should we go over some of the key lines there, John?
Yeah, absolutely. To me, from my perspective at least, it looks like the blue team might have a slight advantage as far as personnel to start tonight, Darren.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. You start off on the D. Torrey Krug and Colton Parayko have been together since the beginning, and I love the communication there. I think Torrey Krug, as long as they stay together, is going to be exceptional for Colt. Wallman, Santini, Dunn, and Renke. On the forward lines, as you were talking about, and I'll cover the blue team, and I'll throw it over to Joey, but you've got Shen, O'Reilly, and Perron, Sanford, Bozak, and Kyrou, Schwartz, Thomas, Hoffman. I'm just throwing these out there. They're not 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Jake Neighbors, the first-round draft pick, Kaspick and Tyler Tucker, a defenseman that's playing the wing for the camp.
Yeah, and the white team right now, it's not as heavy, obviously, but you look at this fourth line, this is going to be a steady group. They're going to get the start here with Barbashev, Sundqvist, and Clifford, and I'm just really excited to get this thing going, guys.
And in goal for the white team is Jordan Binnington, and at the other end, it is Ville Husso as this blue and white scrimmage is underway at Enterprise. The first period is brought to you by PNC Bank, as Husso makes a save right off the bat, and now grabbed by Perron. He coughs it up to Sundqvist. Scandella at the line of drive, and that hit a body, maybe Clifford, and Karam's wide.
Yeah, no, in these scrimmages, as we have found, you'll find when two veteran players, let's say one guy's got a chance to take a one-timer and you looks up and you've got a guy like Torrey Krug or somebody there, they're not going to be all out in those situations. They're playing it smart, but they're playing it hard.
Now Sammy Blais walks in for the white team. For Bortuzzo, he missed it. And it's grabbed by Robert Thomas. Now Schwartz in with Dunn to the net. And Dunn never got the pass, and now he does. On an odd man break, and then the blue team has to reload at center ice. And now Mitch Rinke back for the Blues. Played a couple of games with St. Louis a few years ago. On defense with Dunn. Intended for Hoffman, who wears number 68, as you know. And that is an icing call against the blue team.
What are your thoughts, Joey, on Hoffman? We all know he's a power play specialist. He's a sniper. How do you think he's fit so far?
You know, my biggest thing with Mike Hoffman's going to be, can he get up to speed of the heaviness that the St. Louis brand hockey is? You know, in the West, you know, playing in the East is very different. He's going up against the Islanders in Buffalo, and it's a very different time. So it's going to be, can he get up to speed with that heaviness here in St. Louis?
White team gets the face-off. Mikkola the shot, and that was blocked in front, and now Rinke with it. He'll nudge it ahead for Jaden Schwartz.
One of the interesting things about seeing Mike Hoffman is that he can go around his game. He can, you know, make a little pass, a little sauce pass, get in the open. Doesn't look like he's doing much, and then pop, bang. It's in the back of the net or it's off the pipe. He rarely misses when he gets an opportunity. He's got some great mitts and a wonderful shot.
Well, absolute rifle, especially on this power play. That's what I'm most excited to see. Put him on that left dot, get him in that one-timer situation. That's why he had so much success in Florida.
And again, the Blues last year, they had the third best power play in the NHL as the white team ices it. So you add players like Hoffman and Torrey Krug to the power play. At least on paper, this power play should be very good once again, guys.
Yeah, the power play units so far. Power play number one has got Schenn, O'Reilly, Hoffman, Perron, and Krug. That's a pretty solid group there, and I think our fans are going to be really excited seeing Krug handling the puck, especially on that point on the power play.
Now it is Zach Sanford keeping the puck in for the Blue. To Wallman, who's got a big shot, and that's on goal, and a good save by Binnington. And that goes out of play. He might have taken that one off the mask. And Wallman, as we know, gentlemen, watching him in practice and the scrimmages, he can shoot the puck as well as anybody.
Yeah, he can. That might have got away on him a little bit high, but what a wicked shot there by Wallman, who continues to improve, and his skating is world class.
Yeah, and I kind of don't mind the shot. You know, Darren, you were talking about how some guys really kind of take a little bit off their shot or maybe watch their shot, but you know, he kind of went right after the goaltender's head. But I think it did take a redirection. Jake Wallman was a player heading into the bubble guys in Edmonton back in July that Craig Berube was super impressed with. He was one of those guys that came into camp in a really good shape, and I think he's one of those players on that bubble. He's got to make up his mind. Does he want to go back down in the American League, or does he want to stay in the National Hockey League? And it really is going to be a mindset for this young kid.
So Mikkola has picked up a minor, so the blue team on a power play. It is Perron now for O'Reilly. And a shot, and he scores! He gets his own rebound, and he jams it under Jordan Binnington. And the blue team with a 1-0 lead.
Yesterday at practice, they really worked Schenn not in front of the net, O'Reilly in front of the net, as was the case right there. And Schenn in the middle of the ice is that bumper. And they'd moved a lot of pucks to relieve some pressure to Schenn. There they just went right to the goal line, just on a jam play.
Yeah, nice little TJ Oshie bumper. I know exactly what we're talking about, Darren. That play, guys, reminded me a lot of what Pat Maroon did a couple years ago. Right on that goal line, he was a lefty. Ryan O'Reilly's a lefty. Get him to that goal line and just make that quick little wrap. He found his own rebound and put it home.
So O'Reilly with the goal at 2:14 on the power play. And the blue team with a 1-0 lead.
As a captain, he's got his first goal at Enterprise Center now.
Well, and you guys were just talking about how excited you guys are for this power play, and they didn't waste much time, did they?
No, they didn't. And they've been working diligently at it. Both power play units really do look excellent, though. And we might have another minor penalty here. This one on the defenseman Tucker that's playing forward, and actually he's been really impressive at training camp, I got to tell you. But the other power play unit is Schwartz, Bozak, and Thomas, and it had been with Dunn and Parayko. And so we'll see what happens now. Well, of course, the colors have changed now, so the units, aren't the same as what we've seen in practice in terms of what color they're on.
So Tucker off for the blue team, and the white with a power play, trying to tie the game as Sundqvist swings it back on the half wall for Blake. Falk is on the left point, and Rinke on the right side. Falk walks the line. Now Blake comes in, and across in front, and another chance, and that goes just wide.
Another great pass from Annis, who's got some unbelievable mitts. Number 33 that came in and signed a deal with the Blues after leading in assists last year in the American Hockey League. The kid's got some really good hockey IQ and calmness with the puck.
Yeah, where's number 33 in front? Sundqvist, a shot, and a save by Husso. And the blue team able to clear it down the ice with 1:15 left in the power play.
Man, I just love the flexibility of Oscar Sundqvist. He's out there running fourth line minutes, goes whole hard, and then he's also a player you can put right in front of the net on the power play. That's what those Swedes do, Darren. They develop from the skill level as a young age, and they can just play any kind of role you give them. Look at what Alexander Steen's done in his career.
I've really liked his camp. I think Sundqvist is moving his feet. He looks like he's totally engaged. I think that line has been excellent right from the get-go with Clifford on the left, Barbashev at center, and Sundqvist on right.
Now Walker back for Perunovic. He wears 48. Walker gets it back again. Now along to this side for Delarose. 30 to go in the power play. And Perunovic. Here's Walker trying to go low to Clifford, and that was broken up. But a guy like Clifford, who of course won 2 cups with the Kings, should be a pretty good fit on that Barbashev-Sundqvist line, Darren.
Well, he's a pro, isn't he, Joe?
Oh, my goodness.
You played against him. You know what he's all about.
Mean, snarly little pit bull. My goodness gracious.
You said little pit bull?
Yeah, well.
Looks huge, mungus to me.
He's a big boy. He's actually coaching a lot at Kirkwood, where our kids all play, and he's out there with the mini mites, and these little mini mites are having so much fun with him out on the ice, and he never cracks a smile.
Have you seen his teeth? He doesn't have any.
Which one?
Love him. Oh, that's great.
Now Nolan Stevens, number 51 at the line. A shot is tipped as the blue team is now back at full strength.
Well, it's good to have him on our side. We've seen some of those big battles, the heavy teams of the LA Kings, which, some of those playoff series, John Kelly, were some of the best I've ever seen in terms of heaviness. And Clifford, a big part of it. The Blues had Ryan Reeves back then, and wow, could they go head-to-head. I remember last year when Binnington tried to stir things up, he got right in the face, right in the kitchen there of Kyle Clifford, and the fans here in St. Louis were loving that. Well, they're going to love Clifford as part of the squad in blue, that's for sure.
I know a lot's been said about the signing of Torrey Krug and how much he's made this team better, but Darren and John, I look at Kyle Clifford as, if not as good of a sign, maybe it's very close, because you look at the heaviness of Vegas, you look at the heaviness of Colorado. There's going to be some snarly matchups come LA and Anaheim. Those bottom-feeding teams, they're going to play with some jam.
Well, if the Stanley Cup's going to go through Colorado, or it's going to go through Vegas, or it's going to go through the Blues, it's going to go through 4 lines.
Yes.
You better have a group of guys, and Barbashev and Sundqvist and Clifford, they're better than the 4th line.
Now Robert Bortuzzo. He gets it low for Austin Pagansky. Again, the blue team is back at full strength. They lead 1-0 on the goal by O'Reilly. And Bortuzzo lets it go, and that was tipped wide, maybe by Walker, the Aussie. Now Walker to the line. And Perunovic in the slot. And a shot fanned on. Another chance, and that goes high and wide.
That was
as McKenzie let it go.
Curtis McKenzie's had a really good camp here.
Very solid.
Very solid. Just straight line guy, goes through people, not afraid to hit, as he did right there on Kaspic.
Boy, he put Sammy Blais on his butt last week, Darren. Oh, my God. First shift. Woof.
Yeah, he came in saying, I get the deal. I know what it's all about, but I'm going to have to run through some guys that I'm going to compete with here.
That's right.
Stolen by Barbashev, and Sundqvist a drive. And that was off the shoulder of Ville Husso. And now the white team picking things up here, down by 1. Kept in by Mikkola. And now back for the Finn. Trying to go low for Clifford. And that was broken up by O'Reilly. And this goes all the way down, played by Binnington, no icing.
Yeah, Mikkola scored a nice goal in the last scrimmage, a nice wrist shot right off the post and in.
Overtime.
Oh yeah, it was an overtime.
Wasn't it 3-on-3? I love the reaction out of the bench. They all stood up.
Yeah, it was great. It was a good little wrist shot and a good way to end the game.
And Mikkola, of course, a handful of games last year with the Blues. Certainly will be in the conversation as far as the starting lineup. And will he play on Wednesday night in Colorado? But you would think at the very least he'll be on the depth chart of the St. Louis Blues. And remember, guys, this year, because of the situation with COVID, teams will be allowed to carry a taxi squad featuring between 4 and 6 players.
Yeah, you can, and there's, the good news about how you have to be flexible with a flat cap and teams starting as quickly as they've started is, you can do some paper moves to get guys up and down during the course of a couple of days if you need to save a few bucks here or there and make it work. But I look at this St. Louis Blues team, and most prognosticators have them in the 3 spot, Joe, somewhere around there. I've got them higher than that. I think they've got 6 really good NHL lines up front.
Yeah, they do.
And they've got 9 defensemen.
And luckily they've, haven't had a ton of injuries over the last couple seasons. And I hope they stay healthy, but you're right there. And they got a couple guys on the bubble. Mackenzie McEachran, who hasn't gotten a lot of ice time over the last 2 years. He's hungry. He's ready. You look at some of these younger guys that we're mentioning. Mackenzie throwing his body around. Jake Wallman, I'm really admiring his game right now. He had a good shot earlier, a good block just there. Playing some terrific hockey as well. A lot of great players in this. And you got to give a lot of credit to Doug Armstrong, Bill Armstrong, who's now with the Arizona Coyotes. They've done a tremendous job drafting.
And the other, Nathan Walker came up last year, played real well. Austin Poganski, his feet look a lot quicker this year at camp, and he's advancing. He's developing. He's going to be one of those guys where they're not just looking at him and going, okay, he's going to the American Hockey League. He's a player that can be here.
Now Poganski, you mentioned him, he wears 51. That's broken up, and Sanford gets it back for the Blues. And tipped ahead by Krug. Grabbed by Kyrou to the net, intended for Sanford. Boy, Kyrou has been very impressive. As you can see, he switched numbers from 33 to 25. He wore 25 in junior. And guys, he's also added about 8 pounds of muscle this year. So he's a bigger player, but boy, is he fast.
Of muscle, because I was going to say, I've put on 8 pounds as well. Joey?
I was going to say, how do they know if it's muscle? I guess they do that body fat composition testing these days, guys, and there's no hiding that. Back in the old days, Darren, you probably could tell your coach, I gained 20 pounds of muscle, and they wouldn't know the difference if it was muscle or fat.
They had those calipers, and they just figured out a number. It's great.
Shot by Rinke was blocked in front. Now Rinke on to Dunn. That fired wide by a foot or so. And kick back of the goal now for Mikkola. Long home run pass for Walker from Gunnarsson. And that is an icing call.
Oh, it's a bad icing call. Walker is so fast, and he actually beat Dunn on that from my vantage point anyway. But in the meantime, I think it's important not to just have a flow game anyway, Joe. I think you got to have face-offs. You got to have set plays on the offensive side of it. You've got to, if a guy's offside, it's offside.
Right.
Get the whistle going in the neutral zone. Let's get her going. You're going to prepare for Game 1 against Colorado. It's going to be a lot different than this.
I agree. I don't mind the penalties. We saw a couple early penalties. I think Timmy Peel, our referee tonight, I think he was told to maybe throw some penalties, especially early in periods. You see this a lot in camp. Early on in periods when ice is fresh, get your star guys out there on clean sheet, get the power play going.
Yeah, and not in the first scrimmage, they basically did a penalty shot with a chaser. Well, you don't.
I don't like it.
No. Let's get to the real stuff here, and good to see Tim Peel, number 20, in his final season of the National Hockey League after a long and outstanding career.
And of course, he broke his leg last year, Darren.
Yes, when Jonathan Taves fell on him accidentally.
Yeah, so it's been quite a recovery, and great to see Timmy back, who, of course, makes his home here in St. Louis.
I think Robert Bortuzzo put one off his butt in the net, didn't he? Wasn't it Timmy?
It might have been his front of his butt. The other side.
Yeah, they
didn't
called
really
it back.
turn. He got it in the midsection, Joe.
By the way, this
in the athletic supporter, Joe, if you want me to get even more specific.
I got it.
By the way, this first period on YouTube Live is brought to you by PNC Bank. The blue team with a 1-0 lead on the power play goal by O'Reilly. As Thomas gets it. Back for Krug. In front, looking for the tip from Hoffman. And that was wide of the goal.
Man, he's so good at that, huh? Picking his head up, looking for sticks.
Oh, Krug?
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's unreal. He's not even looking at the net. He's looking for twigs. He's looking for bodies in front. Any kind of deflection. That's what makes him so dangerous. You know, the first goal in that scrimmage last week was to Robert Thomas. That similar play,
Same
right
play.
at the point. Throw it to a stick, a high tip by Thomas, and it was in the net.
Yeah, you better have your stick on the ice when he's got that puck at the point. Last year, 61 games, had 49 points. His career high is, what was it, 60? In 17-18, he had 14 goals and 45 helpers for 59 points, and not playing the role that he's going to play with the St. Louis Blues.
And guys, we talk about the Blues lineup and the depth they have. Of course, we have not mentioned the name Tarasenko, who, as you all know, is out until at least February following his third surgery on his shoulder. He played a couple of games in the return to play in the summer, but needed surgery once again. So there is a guy that down the road certainly will come back, at least hopefully, and be a big part of this hockey club.
Well, there's no question about that. I mean, look at the depth. Look at the numbers that head coach Craig Berube is going to be able to put out there. Let's face it, the Blues are a much better team when he is healthy and ready to go and playing the way he played en route to the Stanley Cup in 19.
Here comes the Blues' first-round pick, Neighbors. He wears number 63, good Alberta kid. He took a puck in the mouth the other day in camp.
Yeah, he had to wear that full plastic shield on his jaw there and his face. That's a tough way to go about that, and you're on a morning skate too, just before the scrimmage.
Yeah, they call it the old fishbowl, and boy, that'll get you some chirps from your teammates. You got to wear that ugly thing.
You ever have to wear one of those, Joe?
I did once, yeah. And boy, I think it was lasted one practice. I told the trainer, get this thing off of me. I can't deal with it anymore. The mental abuse, I can't stand it.
Sid giving it to you?
Nah, he was pretty good about it.
That would be Crosby, I assume.
Absolutely.
Yes.
He takes good care of Joe, that guy, huh?
Yeah, he had a rough fishbowl for a while. You guys remember
That's
Brooks
right.
Orpik took a shot from the point one of my years there, and boy, he smashed his whole mouth up. Really ugly.
Ooh, nice puck movement there.
Here's Parayko, and a shot, and a good save by Jordan Binnington. Boy, guys, I don't know what you thought, but I thought Parayko was maybe the best player on the ice in Wednesday's scrimmage. He was all over the ice.
He sure was. And one thing I was watching for, and it wasn't just Colton Parayko that I was watching for, I was watching what Torrey Krug did for him. And even when they go D to D behind the net, Torrey Krug put it on his tape every single time. So it was a nice, even, you know, he got it and he went and it was seamless. And the communication between the two as well was just fantastic. No, gonna like that combination.
Now Barbashev gets it in there, checked there by Parayko. And Perunovic steps up. Throws it back to Bortuzzo. Now on for Sundqvist. And the dump in is handled by Parayko. Now Mikkola in for the left point. Mikkola, the shot. And Husso goes down and makes a very good save with 6:36 left in the first period.
Well, you know, to your point about Parayko and Krug, you know, I remember I asked Marco Scandella last year when he got traded to the St. Louis Blues. They picked him up, and I asked, what's it like coming and playing for Colton Parayko, to give people a perspective on what Torrey Krug is thinking. He goes, oh my God, playing with Colton Parayko, that's like getting traded to the Edmonton Oilers and being on a line with Connor McDavid. I mean, that is the eliteness of Colton Parayko. So as happy as Colton is to have Krug, I think it's a very good relationship back and forth, and it's a mutual agreement.
Yeah, and it's nice seeing the captaincy with Alexander Steen having to retire because of the multiple injuries that he's had to sustain. That an A goes on the shoulder of Colton Parayko. I think that we're going to see that you could put any letter or not have a letter, but Torrey Krug's a guy like that too, a great leader, and was so in Boston.
Now Mackenzie McEachern around the goal for the White for De La Rose, who's been skating very well in training camp. Of course, acquired for Robbie Fabry last year. And now the Blues march it onto center ice. Kyrou. And his club making a change, so he coughs it up. And Scandella gets it now for Falk.
Yeah, that's one of those plays with how well he skates. If he could just layer that in a little bit, get it beyond that first defending line right there, then he's able to beat anybody with his speed.
Now Zach Sanford has a lane to the net, a shot, and a good save by Binnington. And he covers the rebound.
Well, Sanford and Bozak, they've played well in the past together, but I think in camp they've really relied upon one another, Joe. Just, the support, the little cycles down low, and then Jordan Kyrou's learning how to, play that heavier game, and we saw glimpses of that last year. That if you're going to play with a veteran like Bozak, you're going to have to battle for all those pucks. It can't be one and done.
And a shot by Santini goes high. The former Devil in Pred, Steve Santini's had a good camp for the Blues.
And the other guy's Sanford, too. I mean, you saw that shot right there. He's really kind of got that goosey, like loosey-goosey kind of look with his wrists, like he's rolling them over, and then bang, he snaps that one high to the blocker's side, and Binnington makes a good save.
Yeah, Zach, when he skates and moves, he kind of reminds me a lot of a freshly born giraffe, fresh out of the womb, all kind of dangly and long and awkward at times, but it works.
Freshly born.
And that is tossed down the ice. 4:44 left in the first period. Yeah, you guys are characters. It is great to be back here at Enterprise Center. Again, the opener Wednesday from Colorado. Puck drop at 9:30 St. Louis time. As Clifford handles the puck. Had his pocket picked by Parayko. And Colt 55 now ahead on the wing. And the White back to get it with Ivan Barbashev. Oh, a risky pass in front of his own goal. Binnington saying, "What are you doing there, guy?" And he got away with it. I don't think that's the outlet pass he wanted. And Clifford to the backhand. And a good poke check by Parayko, but a penalty called by Tim Peel.
Going to be a hooking call right there on that transition, right in front of Jordan Binnington. The White squad was off and running. The team in blue had to chase a little bit, and the stick got out a little bit in front of the hands, and we'll see another power play here by the team in white. It's actually why I was thinking in my brilliant mind that maybe Schwartz, Thomas, and Hoffman were going to be on the other team, so then when you alternated power plays, they would get a chance as well.
The minor is against Neighbors for hooking. And Delarose, good stick there by Bozak to tip it onto center ice. Bozak on with O'Reilly, Krug, and Parayko. White team on the power play. Perunovic now walked along by Walker. He can't get in. On a delayed offside, that's broken up and fed down by O'Reilly. With 3.5 to go in the opening period.
Well, nice to see Scott Perunovic, last year's Hobie Baker Award winner and highly sought-after defenseman as well. There was a draft pick of the Blues, and to see him in camp and to be part of this in his first year pro is a great thing. He's got a heavy shot for a guy that's not that big.
He gets it now on for Blais, and a little toe drag and a shot, and a save by Husso. White team on the power play. Sundqvist missed it, and it comes around now for Blais.
Got to be ready for a pass when Annis has the puck.
Now a pass from Falk to Annis. And he was spun around and broken up now by the blue team. And Wallman is off to the races. And a shot. And Binnington got his arm on that one.
What a play by Wallman to bring that from his backhand to his forehand in stride with a man on him at the very end of a penalty kill. Phenomenal.
I mean, he's been my bright spot of this first period. I liked everything he's doing right now. And this is a young kid who's just feeling more and more confident. To me, Darren and John, he looks like a kid with the attitude of, I'm tired of going down to the minors. And he's had a great camp before Edmonton. He's having another great camp here. I think he's raising a lot of eyebrows, but you're right, Darren. He's coming down on his off wing like that. Nice little toe bringing it in.
Rebound right to Robert Thomas. Short-handed, the blue team will kill some time. Now back for Rinke with 30 left in the Neighbors minor. And the white team on the power play. And Falk controls it. Now on to Blais. And then back to the Minnesota native. Falk a drive and a save by Husso. He's been good in this first period.
Yeah, he has been. He started slow in the first scrimmage, but here he's been ready right off the hop. And I think as camp has gone on, I've really watched closely the goaltenders, and Binnington's been rock solid, but I think we're more looking at Ville Husso, Gillies as well, and of course Joel Hofer. But more so Husso, because this is his first opportunity, and that backup position is valuable points on the line every single night.
Again, every team will play a 56-game season. So the Blues will play the other West Division clubs 8 times, as the blue team is now back at full strength. And the white coming in with Hugh McGing. O'Reilly there to defend. Former Selke Trophy winner round for Parayko, with $1:25 to go in the first period. O'Reilly has scored the only goal if you've just joined us here on YouTube Live. As Sundqvist has spun around, now O'Reilly back there, great stick. Here's Perron into the zone. Santini from a tough angle. Feathers it around now for Hoffman. He never got it.
I like that signing of Santini. I think playing in the NHL with New Jersey and with Nashville, and I think he's a really good depth guy for the Blues. Right hand shot, solid. Doesn't do anything spectacular, but does everything real soundly.
You know, and he's a good Italian guy too, Darren and John. That's why
That's
I
a
like
good
him.
point. That's a very good point. Does he make bread?
You know, I don't know. You know, I'm trying to think. Is it Italian? Because it kind of sounds like Santorini, which is Greek. Isn't that Greek?
Yeah, but it's Santini.
Santini. Yeah, but it's Steve, right?
Yes, it is.
Well, you're Joe.
Yeah, but Joe's Italian too. I don't know.
He took a shot off the leg though, guys, and he's off on the bench now with 40 left.
All fun and games until you take one off the leg now.
Exactly. As the white team gets it down low, Blay now for Gunnarsson. Boom, boom, Gunnarsson. A Mikula shot. And that's fought off by Husso. And Mackenzie McCackert.
A Finn and a Swede. Same pairing.
Long-time rivals are those countries, as we know.
How about that World Junior game?
Yeah.
Finn could come back in that game. Unbelievable. Unbelievable World Junior. Congratulations to Team USA.
Yeah, what a win against the Canadians for the gold medal. And Hoffman will kill the clock in the corner, and that'll do it. As the white team outshoots the Blues 6-5, and the only goal from Ryan O'Reilly, gentlemen.
Yeah, and that came on the power play. So the white team had a couple of power play opportunities, but the two main number 1 and number 2 power plays are on the Blue squad. So we only saw one, and it was very quickly in the net by O'Reilly.
Well, and the one thing I'm excited about for these fans, if you can get into these buildings, if you can start seeing some games in the near future, it is so quiet in these buildings. And guys, we're way up here, and we're listening. I mean, these players have conversations on the ice. It is so fun to watch. And Darren, you of course have a great perspective on this, being between the benches. But I don't think fans really appreciate how much these guys talk. They don't shut their mouths the entire game. And to me, being up here in this quiet building, I'm getting a bigger kick out of listening to their conversations out there than the actual game. It's been fun.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, you watched the Buffalo Bills game yesterday, and of course, 20% were in there, but it sounded louder than that.
Right.
But you could still hear on the microphone, you could still hear the play calling and the conversations as well. So I think we'll see the same thing with the NHL. And, I know the players have to talk on that ice. I mean, maybe it's tougher for them when it's quiet. You don't want to say too much, but you have to communicate. And I was mentioning with Torrey Krug, I mean, he's a talker. Kyle Clifford, he'll get in there, and you need to have that kind of that energy, that energy that you have to manufacture yourself. But communicating is one way of doing that.
Sure. Well, and the other thing, Darren, people were asking, well, when they go to these hostile places like Vegas, is it going to be an advantage for the Blues who don't have to deal with the noise? It's the opposite. The Blues and these teams going to these away buildings, they feed off that energy, even though it's negative energy, but they kind of relish in it. So it is going to be something this year that the teams that could really learn how to manufacture that energy as quickly as possible, they're going to have an edge, no question about it.
All right, Joey and Darren, you guys are in mid-season form. Great to be back with you here at Enterprise Center. Blue team up 1-0. We'll come back shortly for the second period. And welcome back here on YouTube Live from Enterprise Center. Again, I'm John Kelly along with Darren Pang and Joey Vitale in this blue and white scrimmage, getting ready for the second period. The blue team on a power play goal from Ryan O'Reilly with a 1-0 lead. And gentlemen, before the game started tonight, we said, well, the blue team looks like they're a little bit more skilled up front as far as the lineup, but I'll tell you what, that white team had the better chances in the last 10 minutes, and it was a pretty even game.
Yeah, you know, obviously the white team with less experience, but guys that want a job here too. So you get a hungry group of guys that ended up creating a couple of power plays, one more than what the blue squad did. So I would have to think here going into this second period that, you know, Craig Berube's looking at his leaders, and he's looking at guys to say, okay, let's start setting the tone here. We're getting ready for game one, and I know this isn't a real game situation. I know these are your teammates, but boy, we gotta set a bit of a better tone, and so for that, I was impressed in the first period with Jake Wallman. I thought he was awfully good on the blue side of things, on Team White. I mean, Barbashev, Sundquist, and Clifford. Well, that's going to be a good one all season long. So I like that in that grouping.
You know, what's funny about the physicality of that white team, like you were mentioning, you know, this head coach and this blue team, they love it. I think they want that physicality. They want these young guys to go out and start throwing bodies. Now, you got to do it. You got to be careful about who you're doing it with. You obviously don't want to line up Ryan O'Reilly, but like we saw McKenzie hit Sammy Blais. I mean, some good pops. Todd Reardon once told me, you know, when I was in camp, he said, anyone with a high number, hit him, crush him, kill him, right? So whenever you see a kid with a high number, that means this green means go. And, of course, all the other superstars keep your eye out for. But, yeah, a lot of great physicality there and great stuff out of Team White.
So 87 was sort of a high number in Pittsburgh. I just got going through the numbers here real quick.
And so is number 90, by the way. And 91, although he's not here.
I guess that rule doesn't really apply anymore.
No, not anymore. All right, underway in the second period. The second period brought to you by Toyota. As Falk goes back.
66, 99.
71.
That theory is out the window, Vitale.
47. That's a camp number there. And you know, in the old days, like 47, that was a camp number.
Yes,
dirty,
it was.
Dusty number. But now it's almost a trend to have a camp number.
Yep, you're right.
Here comes Blais. He comes in a shot. That's off the stick of Krug, I believe, and over the head of Husso. And it goes out of play. Guys, I guess one of the big questions coming into camp was the top six and how would Craig Berube sort them out. And, you know, not really a shock, but Robert Thomas at center and Shen on left wing with O'Reilly. Darren, your thoughts on that move?
Well, right away, looking at Shen, O'Reilly, and Perron, and I thought that first, maybe even day and a half, maybe even two, they were still trying to find their way. And then as they got going and every practice they were out together again, I mean every single practice they're working on something together and nuances and tendencies and they're just getting better, and when they dial it up, look out. So I really like that. And Schwartz, Thomas, and Hoffman, well, everybody's waiting for Thomas to get that, you know, get that spot, to get that top six for right now, and I think there's a lot of options there for the head coach. But so far, loving Thomas, Schwartz, and I think Hoffman's still trying to feel his way around as well. I mean, where to get the puck? Am I one time in it? And sometimes, you know, I'm not saying he has to be more selfish, but I think that's that shot, that's his asset that he has, is that shot and creating offense that way. So I think that does take a little bit of time because it's about respect and not wanting to step on guys' toes that have been here.
Well, and I think it's interesting to see how this evolves and how long they're going to keep it with this. Of course, if they have success, they're going to keep these top six the way they are. But I was a bit surprised by how much heaviness is on one, and maybe one line was a little bit lighter. You know, you look at that Schwartz, Thomas, and Hoffman line, not a lot of heaviness there, but then you got the O'Reilly and Perron and Shen. I mean, O'Reilly and Perron, to me, are two of the top five guys in the league as far as puck possession, hanging on to pucks. And then you got the heaviness, the hitting, the physicality, the snarl of Braden Shen as well. So three of those really heavy guys on one line, and it's a little bit more skilled and laid back on the other. But it's going to be interesting to see if they keep it that way or they go maybe more towards a balanced approach as this season kind of unfolds.
Yeah, and we know that Braden Shen, you know, if he had a preference, he prefers being in the middle of the ice. But anytime Craig Berube's asked him to be on the wing, he does it, and he sets a great example on the wing. He's one of our best forecheckers. He's one of our best forwards at finishing hets when he gets in there, which is the basis of the forecheck of the St. Louis Blues.
Here is Jordan Kyrou, and a pass back intended for Kaspick, and it went by him. and goes all the way down the ice. Blue leading here 1-0 again the second period, brought to you by Toyota here on YouTube Live. Final scrimmage before the Blues embark to Colorado on Tuesday for Wednesday's opener. And a harmless wrist shot from the boards is handled by Jordan Binnington. And a delayed penalty again, and it's on the white team. And a holding call from referee Tim Peel.
Well, that gives the Blue squad an opportunity to get back on that power play, and probably started off with David Perron, O'Reilly, and that top unit. Hoffman, Schenn, and Torrey Krug that scored a goal quickly on that first power play they had.
Let's see if Krug can set up Hoffman for a one-timer here, guys.
Yep.
Holding minor to Scandella. So again, the power play, it is Krug, Hoffman, Schenn, Perron, and O'Reilly. As Hoffman tips it, handled by O'Reilly. And the captain sends it across to Schenn. Now Hoffman, who had 29 goals last year, on for Perron. Here's Hoffman, one-timer and a shot on goal. And a good save by Binnington. And now Krug again, Hoffman one-timer. Partially fans on that. There's Gunnarsson trying to break it up. And now grabbed by Bortuzzo, and he wires it high down the ice.
Well, you saw it right there, Darren and John. He's not bashful. I mean, Mike Hoffman will shoot the puck, and that second pass was Alpha's front foot. It wasn't even that good of a pass, but he still felt confident enough to unleash it.
Yeah, only three-quarter backswing too.
Yeah,
he didn't get everything on that, but it creates so much trouble for the goaltender. In fact, Binnington made a really good save with his on the stick side.
Now a minute to go in the power play. They feed it back to Krug. Hoffman comes in. Schenn at the goal line. Hoffman, Perron, one-timer, a drive, and that may have nicked the near goal post. And O'Reilly back. Krug around. Settled by Hoffman. On his off wing. As is Perron. He gets it. O'Reilly a shot. And again a save by Binnington. And the blue team gets it back to the top again. Krug plays catch with Perron. Hoffman one-timer. And that was off a stick, maybe off McEachran's stick and wide. Now Perron feeds it in front, trying to go backdoor to Hoffman. That was broken up, and the white team clears it away.
It's a lot of puck possession time. I don't think Schenn touched the puck once. Poor guy. But what puck movement that was by the number one power play unit.
that's exciting right there.
And now Schwartz coming in. 10 to go in the power play. And Thomas feeds it back. Rinky, here's Dunn. He comes in, and a drive, and that goes high and out of play. What I like about that power play, aside from the talent, is the fact that you have two one-timers with Perron on the left side and Hoffman on the right, and then O'Reilly and the Krug it goes on. But I love having those one-timers on the off wing, guys.
Yeah, so do I. I think there's always a time and a place. Sometimes they become way too predictable. But there was a couple of times where I thought Perron was going to fire it on the one-timer. Then he tried to go cross-seam to Hoffman, but it was quite clear on that power play that they were really trying hard to feed Hoffman and get that shot of his as the main nucleus of that power play.
Well, when that's your core, right? When that's the starting point of your power play, and if you can feed that early in a game, what that's going to do, it's going to keep the PK very honest. Let's take Colorado on Wednesday night, for example. If they can get a power play and do just that in that first period, then everyone's going to be making adjustments between periods. You gotta respect. You gotta watch the one-time threat, and then from there, once they start guarding it, then that's when everything opens up, and they're going to start using that Schenn bumper play. I would imagine they're going to use them a little bit more once everything else gets settled in.
So a good kill by the white team. It's still 1-0 for the blue on a power play goal from O'Reilly. And now it is Annis, number 33. Pass in front, and a fanned-on shot there. And Schwartz back for the blue. And he gets in. Here's Bozak trying to get away from some checking. On to Thomas. A little spinorama move. And drops it off. Now back to Wallman, who had a very good first period. Thomas trying to go to Wallman again, who is cutting in for the left point. And then fed around by Schwartz. And Cairo off the bench. Now Jordan Cairo with a good move. Handed on to Schwartz. To the back. And a long wrist shot goes wide. That was Kaspic, number 83.
Yeah, he was looking for a direction in front of the net. Cairo just missed it.
And now Wallman, good move. He comes in. Wallman a shot. And a save by Binnington with the right arm.
Well, doggone Jake Wallman again. Darren, you touched on him in the first period about how good he was. I agree with you. And he comes down on that far side wall right there and makes a nice little in and out, almost like Connor McDavid-esque move, and kind of loses that forward right there and took it right to the net. This young kid's feeling it.
We're getting a good shot of him there going to the bench, kind of shaking his head. It was he and Binnington all alone, and he couldn't solve the number 50 in net. Trying to go, I think, maybe between the side of the body and between the arm. And Binnington shut her down. But, you keep getting opportunities like that. It opens up your eyes. I mean, it's not – there's what's the secret to success? I mean, make somebody notice what the heck you're doing out there. If you're, dancers dance, deekers deek, fighters fight, hitters hit, whatever you want to do. But do it to the best of your ability. Well, his skating and his instincts with his blades are very, very good. And so far, he's opened up those eyes.
Well, he's so calm on his skate. You mentioned his skating. He looks a little dopey at times when he skates. He's kind of like methodical, and all of a sudden, though, it's like boom, and he's just gone like a rocket. So that's why it's that deceptiveness.
Here's Parayko with a pass in tight, and a good save as Tucker got behind the defense, and Binnington made a great glove save.
Yeah, great keep in there by Parayko on the right point, and he saw that Tucker was actually behind the play, and he was just getting up, so he was trying to get out of the zone thinking the puck might be there, and boy, Colton Parayko found it and put it right on the tape, and I'm really happy to see Jordan Binnington here. I know it's a preseason game, but you want your goaltender feeling good and on his toes. We all know, last year what did happen when they got into the bubble. The team just wasn't the same team, and Binnington takes responsibility for that as well. But it is absolutely imperative that your goaltender gets off to a good start in a 56-game season.
12:50 left in the second period. The blue team still leading 1-0. Walked along by Sundqvist. And the smiling Swede, a backhander, and that misses everything and back to center ice.
Last year, Binnington, after a Stanley Cup win, went 30, 13, and 7. He garnered 67 of the Blues' points last year.
Here's a pass in front, and Parayko coming over. He knocked Clifford down, and he never got a shot away. And now back for Scandella. And then Barbashev, good stick by Neighbors, almost broke it up. Gentlemen, how much stock should we put in the Blues' performance as a team and individually from the playoff bubble?
None whatsoever. And I love Jordan Binnington's answer when he was asked that question. What are you thinking about? Are you thinking about the bubble and what happened? Which it wasn't great. He said, no, I'm thinking about the All-Star game. I'm thinking about the Stanley Cup. I'm thinking about our playoff run. I'm thinking about the 30 wins that we had in the regular season, defending the Stanley Cup. And he's right. You don't think of the negative things, but you have to still solve. Something went wrong that's going to be a long-term thing. Then you got to fix it. But you got to go in with a fresh state of mind and positive imagery, as far as I'm concerned, anyway. Joel.
I like it, Darren. Yeah, I like the positive imagery call right there. Sometimes it's that debate. Head coaches do it all the time. Whenever you have a stinker of a game or a weekend, what do we think? Do we break this down in film, or do we just sweep it under the rug? And I think sometimes it's better just to sweep it under the rug, because it was an unfortunate situation that none of these players were prepared for, and I would have hated to be a part of that. I can imagine trying to perform at a high level throughout all that. The one thing I like about it is that I think that from an individual standpoint, there were players that know they could have gave a lot more. They're disappointed in their own performance. So I like it because I think that this was a long offseason for these fellas, and I think it's going to have these guys play with a lot more jam coming up.
Speaking of jam, Sammy Blais to the net, and a good save by Ville Husso, who's been strong in this game. And now back of the goal. And the white team in possession.
Great job there by Stevens behind the net, protecting that puck.
On to Blais. And Delarose, the other member of this line, the puck lifted out by Perron. Then a foot race, Shen coming in. And he tries to get there, and almost does, ahead of Perunovic. And the puck fed back to center ice. And now Santini back for the blue team. For Jake Wallman.
I like that Perunovic is paired with Bortuzzo as well. And Bortuzzo, by the way, has had a really good camp.
Yeah.
He's made some good reads. He looks sharp with the puck, good decision making. And of course, we know his value as well comes when the game's on the line. They're on the penalty kill, and he puts his body on the line and blocks a Nathan McKinnon one-timer from that point, or an Alex Ovechkin shot. He's a fearless competitor, that guy.
Well, he's probably sharp, Darren, because he's been playing a lot of pickleball with you and me during the offseason.
It's a good point. That's why the hands are so good.
On his toes.
Good feet, yep, good decision making. I love that pickleball, Joe.
Oh, man.
You got me into some kind of game now. My heart's ticking again.
Here is Torrey Krug and a drive, and Binnington got a great look at that. And a glove save on Krug.
That was like a chicken picking cherries right there, though. Can of corn, that's an easy one. And Krug, you could tell, it looked up like, oh, boy. I was waiting for some traffic to get there, and I decided to fire it. Just going to warm up his glove.
He almost doesn't want to shoot it. I mean, it is a wasted shot almost if you think about it. He would rather find 2 sticks and try to have an option to throw it off the net. I think he'd rather shoot it wide looking for a stick than have a shot on goal.
I totally agree with you.
We are just past the midway point of the second period in this blue and white scrimmage from Enterprise Center. O'Reilly has scored the only goal tonight. That was back in the first period on the power play. That's gloved down by Clifford. And he walks in wide in a shot. And a good left pad save by Husso.
A nice shot there by Clifford. Usually that kind of shot gets deflected by the defenseman's stick, but he got it through.
That's kept in by Gunnarsson. Sundqvist drops it back. Mikkola fires it high. And by the ear of Ville Husso.
And by the ear of Clifford. He might not want to do that again.
Yeah, and he doesn't wear a visor, you know. So Ryan O'Reilly was the only Blues player last year without a visor, and now we got Kyle Clifford. So we have 2. There's only not many left in the league, fellas.
It looks like Clifford's got a visor on.
Does he have one?
He didn't I know he hasn't.
Oh, you know, I think he does have one now. He never used to.
Yeah.
Maybe he was tired of losing all those teeth.
I think it's hard for some guys, especially guys, you know, like that have been, you know, that have been scrappers, and but at one point you've got to put the safety first, and I like the fact that like Clifford and Ryan Reeves, I'm talking about tough players that they know their roles, but they're staying relevant in the game because they can skate, and they've got sense, and they can keep up with the play, and certainly, we're going to see a minor penalty to Mackenzie McEachran. The Michigan native is going to head off, the one-time Mr. Hockey of high school hockey in Michigan. Another guy fighting for a job in a regular position.
What's something that would go through your mind, Darren, if you're Barbashev or Sundqvist, when you go from having Alexander Steen on your line as such a staple for the last 2 seasons, and now you have a Kyle Clifford? You know, what's an advantage, or what's something Clifford does different that would excite you if you're Barbashev or Sundqvist for this 4th line?
I know one thing. If I were playing with Alexander Steen, I wouldn't want to disappoint him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and you know that he getting older, if you put the puck in the wrong spot and he can't get there, then, you know, you're wasting a shift. You're wasting maybe some momentum that you might have. I mean, Clifford, that's a big body. I think he commands a lot of respect. The guys like him. They want him to do well. Good shot there, and a better save again.
And a rebound, and what a save! Robert Thomas with a second chance. And Binnington with a glove save. My goodness, what a stop.
Oh, he gave him the 9 of hearts with that glove right there. Thanks for coming.
Snappy getting over there.
Yeah, really good save. And you know what? I like the release there of Thomas. He thought he had him.
You know, Robert said he's worked on his shot quite a bit in the last 4 or 5 months, and obviously is a great playmaker, but you have to switch him up sometimes and shoot the puck. And Dunn going back to get it. Blue on the power play for another 90 seconds, up by 1. As Dunn drops it off to Thomas. He gets in now for Parayko. Sends it around, intended for Thomas. And it comes back to Bozak. Blue's second power play unit on the ice here for the blue team. Now to Bozak. Schwartz, quick pass in front, intended for Parayko. And then Dunn around to Thomas. Little toe drag to Schwartz, a shot. And Binnington with the right pad and a save, and a clear by Sundqvist.
Yeah, good little movement there by Jordan Binnington. Short shuffles to get square to that little play, and there was no room for Schwartz to go to the stick side.
And now the top power play unit on the ice for the blue team. Schenn back to get it for the blue. 7:15 to go in the second period. And O'Reilly walks it in. For Krug, back to O'Reilly. And the Blues captain there. Scandella trying to clear it, lost it to Perron. And now O'Reilly covers up. And a pass back, and it rolled over the stick of Brayden Schenn.
That was a nice entry into the zone. 4 of the 5 players touched the puck to get it over the blue line.
And now O'Reilly back in there for Schenn. 10 to go in the power play, back to O'Reilly. He'll deal it back to Krug. Perron. And a pass in front, and a shot wide by Schenn. And now on to Mike Hoffman. Tip back, Krug. Perron, one-timer, and Binnington read the play and made the save, and the penalty is over.
Real good disguise by the passes. I've been really noticing that with Mike Hoffman, Joe. Looks like he's going one way to maybe to the right point and curls his wrist and goes back, changes the angle a little bit, gets a defending player to get biting on one side, and then it opens up the lane. Good patience.
Oh man, that, and to me it's very impressive how quickly this group has already starting to gel and starting to really feel that flow. I mean, you mentioned the 4 people touching the puck coming into the zone. The entries have been great. Torrey Krug was late on that last change for the power play, and he's a guy that usually is a quarterback. He carries the puck up. He comes straight across the blue line, and he's basically in a forward spot. These are all interchangeable parts.
Yep.
These guys are so confident, and they're playing with such a swagger right now. It's amazing to see such an early on, only just a week and a half in with being with each other.
Well, you can't lack hockey sense if you're
yeah.
on the power play, can you, Joe?
No, you sure can't.
And so if it means a defenseman has to fill a spot somewhere else for the time for a split second, they know where to go.
So we're back at full strength, gentlemen. As Neighbors gets it ahead, but not out. McEachran, now Delarose in front. Oh, Husso came across and made a great save on the fellow Finn Mikkola.
Yeah, and they've been hanging out together as well since they've come over here from Finland.
What a save there. Now Mikkola again. That shot blocked right back to Mikkola. That's rejected in front, maybe off of Neighbors. And now moved to center ice for Kaspic.
What a great push off there, using his left edge. Husso read that play perfectly and got right across, and he just looked big when he went to his right.
And now Mikkola again. And number 77 trying to clear it out. 5.5 to go here in the second. This period brought to you by Toyota. White team to the attack. And back of the goal. And they can't make a play. At the line, Perunovic trying to keep it in. Now grabbed by Vince Dunn of the blue team. For Rinky. Sanford tips it. And Binnington wanders.
Good play.
And
on his
around on the
backhand,
boards to Pagansky. His puck handling has been superb since he came into the NHL a couple of years ago, almost to the day, with that first appearance and first shutout in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I still remember that one kick save he made off of a deflected puck, and it just rang off the toe of his skate, and the whole bench went, whoa, and they were fired up in Philly after that save in the first period.
And, of course, that was the night after the boys went out and found that song Gloria, watching a football game. And the rest is history, as they like to say. Annis a shot, and a save by Husso.
I think that was the night we went out to that Italian spot there, that little mom and pop shop in Philly.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
That's right. There was a bring your own wine, and we ended up bringing our own wine. We ran out pretty quickly, and I remember Darren went to the back of the house, and he basically just started getting all these wine bottles of people that leave half bottles of wine. So you think Darren showed up with all this extra wine?
Well, they can't be wasteful.
And we didn't.
Huh? I mean, it's not like our per diems that much.
And we didn't waste it. That was a good night with you fellas.
That sure was, buddy.
Yes.
Yeah, you've brought a lot more Italian restaurants than Chaser used to bring, that's for sure. He's a good Saskatchewan boy who's meat and potatoes.
That's right.
Yeah, he liked his pierogies. I'll take my pasta. 4:09 to go here in the second period. And Scandella. His shot blocked. Parayko there. Robert Thomas chips it away from Scandella, off to the races. And he gets it behind the white goal. Now for Schwartz. Back to Thomas. Here's Parayko in for the point. And big Colton Parayko now for Schwartz. And the white team in possession. And now Sam Annis, number 33, will lob it down the ice.
Well, a couple of young kids that I think have really looked good here in this camp. And certainly Jake Neighbors, the first-round draft pick, who's staying with Braden Shen. Another good example of the way this tight group works. Hugh McGing. Annis is a 27-year-old, but certainly looks good. And I think Austin Poganski, again. Tucker's playing forward, but he's got some good upside as a good prospect. Kaspic as well. So, pretty impressive. The way the young players have got to come in. They're learning from a Stanley Cup championship team full of real good, solid, character-filled veterans. And they don't get out of line, and all they have to do is ask the questions to the right guys to figure out what they have to do.
You know, we were with Braden Shen about 4 weeks ago, and he said, hey, I got to go pick up Jake Neighbors. He's going to stay with me. And that's what these teams do. When these young kids come in, these general managers, coaches generally like to put these young kids with some good veterans. You look at Shen, Ryan O'Reilly. It's a lot easier when they don't have kids and wives, obviously. But Braden Shen, he's engaged at the time, and of course living with now with Jake Neighbors, and it is a good way for kids to get accustomed to an organization, to really kind of understand and know the city.
Well, when do you go to the rink? When do you start stretching? When do what do we got going in the morning? Well, we got video. We got the neutral zone. We got power play. We got penalty kill. It's like going to class.
Where are we going for lunch afterwards?
And that's important too.
We don't go to Cadobah every day, son. That's junior hockey. We try to fill our bellies up.
No, but Cadobah's a fine restaurant, gentlemen. Here's a shot by Bortuzzo on goal, saved by Husso.
Nothing wrong with Cadobah, John.
Absolutely. But look at what Robert Thomas gained from living with Big Walt and the Tkachuk family. And I guess he's on his own this year, but he certainly learned a lot from the Tkachuk family and Big Walt. And a shot on Husso again.
Listen, if I were a first-year pro and I had a chance to live with an NHL regular, let alone high-end, some star players, that are good people, who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want that? I know my first year in the NHL, any time a veteran would say, let's go for dinner, let's get our wives together, let's go, you're there.
Mm-hmm.
You're just soaking up the information.
Now a pass to McEachran.
And besides, you're trying to ingratiate yourself to the group and let them know that you're either a good guy or you're all in or whatever it might be, to show your character and what you're all about.
Yeah, and you probably get a free meal or two along the way, I would imagine.
I was thinking that too.
But it's exciting for these Jake Neighbors. There's a good hit there.
Big one there. Big
Sammy Blais.
And Tucker. Tucker doesn't mind hitting. I've really liked Tucker since the Blues have drafted him on the blue line. He's a real physical sort. He's not afraid to go into the scrums. So this is a little bit of an oddity for him being up here on the wing, but I really like him. I think he's a prospect still for this organization as a defenseman.
Now Pagansky, number 53 for the white team.
Otherwise, he wouldn't be here.
He's checked by Rinke. And now Rinke the other way for Zach Sanford, who spent his summer in Boston. And he also added about 10 pounds of muscle in the offseason.
Yeah, it looks good. He's come prepared.
As Falk, under some heat from a couple of players from the Blue squad. Now back of the line. Here's Krug, and a shot got through and a save by Binnington.
Boy, he was looking for Sanford's stick right there.
Yeah, he was. Every time.
On the give and go, Kyrou shoots. He scores! Kyrou out of the corner, got a great pass, and he beats Binnington and the blue team with a 2-0 lead.
Well, that's what Jordan Kyrou has been doing in camp, and this line is slowly gelling together, and this is a great pass, though, from Sanford. Looked like Sanford might go through a little bit of a cycle and go back to the point, but instead he finds number 25, Jordan Kyrou, who's got some quick feet and mitts on that play.
Confidence, my goodness, great. 95% of the players in the league in that position on that crease, they would just shoot it, right? Just shoot it, but Jordan Kyrou, the confidence he had right there to make that quick little move, a quick little twitch of the wrist, bam, 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 just to make that nice little stretch too to get around Binnington. What a terrific goal.
Yeah, it's not easy to beat Binnington on that type of play because he's got such flexibility and his legs are good, as they say down low. Good legs, and that one, because of the quickness, I think that first darting move from forehand, from kind of a forehand, backhand, forehand, and that stretched him out and made him delay a little bit. That's a goal scorer's goal right there by Kyrou.
It really was. It's bang, bang, and you could see why Craig Berube has liked him on this third line with Zach Sanford. That was one of the big, not controversial moves, but I think that it rose a lot of eyebrows, for a lot of people as far as not having Sammy Blais in that position. Jordan Kyrou was in that spot last week during the scrimmage. He's back in that spot again. And you know what? To me, Darren and John, I think Jordan's a guy you gotta pump up just a little bit. He's been up and down for a couple of years. He's down in the American League. He gets called up. Then he's in the watching from the stands, and it's just kind of all over the place. But maybe a little boost, a little confidence that, here, guy, this is our third line spot. We want you to go out there and grab it. And you know what? You got to applaud him and what he's done with this opportunity so far in camp.
So Kyrou with that last goal at 19:38 in the blue team with a 2-0 lead after two. They've outshot the white team 17-13. Again with Darren Pang and Joey Vitale, I'm John Kelly. We'll take a break and be right back with the third period tonight. And welcome back here on YouTube Live. I'm John Kelly at Enterprise Center, along with my partners tonight, Darren Robert Pang and Joey Vitale. After 2 periods, the blue team in this blue and white scrimmage with a 2-0 lead. Goals from Ryan O'Reilly and Jordan Kyrou. As you can see, the white team making its way back onto the ice. This third period coming up is brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer. What do you guys expect here in the third period?
You know, I really do expect that that the pace actually gets ramped up here in the third period again. I mean, I think the 5-on-5. Let's get to some details again, some stops and starts, and it's because hey, you're here. This is preparation. This is about getting it ready, and they've only got another day here. Then they'll travel to Colorado as well and get settled there in the Mile High City, where, as we well know, guys, those lungs will be burning. When you get there, and that that one extra shift that you take, that you're 20 more seconds on the ice, you're going to be feeling it for your next shift. Joey, you know better than I about that. So that's why I think the coaches will stress that as well. Let's dial it up here, boys. Let's go at it here and get your lungs burning a little bit for the third.
I agree, Darren, because it's going to be a slugfest come Wednesday. I think you got the 2 premier teams in this division are going to go head-to-head, and it's going to come quickly. And I think the Blues have really got to come out. They got to punch hard on that game. And to me, that really starts right here. I love the fact that John and Darren were seeing this same goaltenders, and that, Darren, you called that in the first period.
Yep.
You're like, I think maybe it was between the intermissions. I think John asked you think we're going to see any other goaltenders? You said absolutely not. There should be no reason why we see any other goaltenders. I've liked Villy a lot in this game. I've really liked Jordan Bennington, even though he's lit up the 2 goals. He's looking really snappy, and I'm excited that they're going to go the distance here in tonight's game.
Yeah, it's the right play by Dave Alexander and the coaching staff. And Dave Alexander, by the way, is the goaltending coach, if you haven't heard that name, for the Blues. He's been here for a number of years, does a great job with these guys, but this is the right thing. These guys got to feel it, going post to post, reading the play, fighting through traffic, deflections, the one-timers, cycle plays, all the little things that are going to happen in real speed, higher speed, once you get going in the games.
So underway here in the third period. Scandella wires it in, and Husso wanders, feeds it around, cut off by Barbashev.
Has to get a little bit more on that play around the boards. Kind of puts his winger, Shen, in a bad spot there.
Now bounced in by Shen, wide of Bennington. Scandella trying to clear it. Mitch Rinke comes over. He can't hold it in. And now Delarose, number 61, coming in for the white team. And a shot and a save by Husso on Jacob Delarose.
Delarose has been impressive. I think his stride with the break really looks strong, Joe. He looks like he's got a little bit of another gear here. Mackenzie McEachern and Sammy Blais have said to everybody else, we're a little ticked off here. We're not in that top 4 right now, or at least it doesn't seem that way.
Yeah.
Things might change, but they're playing like, hey, we are in that top 4 for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Jacob Delarose, of course, acquiring him in that Robbie Fabry deal, which, at first, look at the success that Robbie Fabry's now had in Detroit. You look at maybe a lopsided trade, but I tell you what, this is a player that Craig Berube has a lot of faith and trust in. He loves his hard minutes. He loves him in the D zone, especially in that face-off dot, Darren.
And, and on the PK as well. You're right.
Oh, what a save by Bennington on Hoffman after a great centering feed from Robert Thomas. And again, Bennington coming across, Darren, and that was a save, a good push-up, but to me, more than anything, he had a really good read on that play.
I agree with you, because you got to keep your eyes, obviously, on the puck at all times. So he sees a right-hand shot and Thomas going around the net, and you don't cheat and go to the other post prematurely. You have to hold your post. You have to hold your line, and he did so, and then makes a great save off Hoffman.
Now Schwartz back on the line, and Mitch Rinke, his pass off the stick of Hoffman. Now Hoffman off the wall. Worked across to Rinke, to the net, and Bennington got over and made that save on Schwartz, who may have tipped it. Now Schwartz tips it again, and that goes wide. And finally snared by Sammy Blais.
Oh, what a move.
And the Quebec native gets it out now for McEachern. And they play dump and chase. And McEachern hit on Vince Dunn, who just signed a new 1-year deal the other day. Schwartz trying to clear it away. Blue team leading 2-0 here in the third period as both clubs make changes. And now a pass to Kyrou, who scored that second goal late in the second period. Kyrou with a good move around Mikkola. Sanford with it for the blue team. And now Kyrou again, pinned there by Pagansky. And the white takes over, and Mikkola gets it off the boards and out. Now Kyrou. That's kicked ahead by Sanford.
Good job by Bozak to hold the line, though, and could have gone offside there, but instead he kept his left skate. And by the way, a new rule. Not sure what you think of that, Joe and John, with the skate blade can be above the ice.
But on the line.
Still has to be onside, but yes,
Yeah.
just above the ice. Joe, thoughts on that one?
You know, I've always felt the old school. I've always got a lot of old school with that call. I like to see the skate hit the ice.
Me too.
I like that drag. I like that drag look.
It's discipline.
It is. It's discipline, and I know it's old school, and I understand that they're going to try this out for a while. Let's see how it goes, but I still think players as well. It's like the integrity of holding that skate down and hearing that drag where you feel like you're on.
Yeah, exactly right. Again, it's discipline. It's paying attention, and I was a little disappointed, but I think they had so much in favor of that just because of some of the close calls, because they went to video review on an offside play.
That's right.
So one thing has compounded another, and it's resulted in a complete change of the rule.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you guys as far as old school, but I do think, this is my opinion, that when it comes to review, I think it will be easier to see if the skate is above the line as opposed to touching the line.
How about until the first time a player desperately flings his skate up in the air because he thinks he's extending it and keeps it above because he can't keep it on the ice, and that skate blade comes up and brushes somebody.
Well, that is a factor for sure.
It sure is.
Here's O'Reilly. He scored the first goal tonight. Now to Perron, and that shot blocked by Barbashev. Shen with it, a pass back. Dunn to Rinky, right in a shot, and a save by Binnington. Good aggressive save by Jordan Binnington.
But boy, did Dunn ever give Rinky a lot of opportunity there. Rinky's had 3 good chances now just in this third period alone.
Yeah, he's been jumping all night here as the blue team gets it out. Nearly 5 minutes gone by in the third period in this blue-white scrimmage from Enterprise Center. Schwartz hops on a loose puck, and a good stick there by Gunnarsson. And now Delarose, a fellow Swede, back to get it. On for Mikkola. And Mikkola charges ahead, and he'll play dump and chase. And grabbed by Steve Santini. His pass to Wallman, and chips it along for Schwartz. Now Santini, stripped at center ice. And Delarose back in to play, and a shot.
Baby.
And that goes wide.
Great play with his right skate
Man.
to bring a bad pass back to his stick by Sammy Blais.
Incredible pickup. You're right, Darren. Right between his legs. Instead of using his left skate, kicked it kind of soccer style with his right skate right on his blade. Good chance.
Now Delarose, a pass back. Held in by Marco Scandella. And his shot, not a lot on it, blocked in front by Wallman. And Hoffman, a clearing attempt, almost picked up by McEachern. And now the blue team regrouping with Thomas. Long stretch pass ahead. Zach Sanford. He gets beyond Falk. Now Sanford pulls up at the line. Parayko a blast, and he fired that high. And it hit the glass, and now grabbed by Scandella.
Mike Van Ryan, after practice, was working with Parayko again about the follow-through and just how to keep the puck low by not following through high. And there, Parayko got that had to be 110 miles an hour. It had to be.
You know, it's that fundamentally teaches kids.
Here's Krug, a drive, tip wide by Kyrou.
There's that stick again.
And there's Krug's head up all the way as he shot the puck.
He's just looking for blades, John.
Yep.
That's it.
What I like as an analyst watching Krug is that the stick is obviously black, like most of them are, but with that prominent white tape on the blade, not from toe to heel all the way, just a little bit of space. You can tell when he's on the ice at all times. He's one of the few guys that tapes his stick that way and has it there, so it's easy to see number 47 when he's got the puck.
A couple goofy stick jobs in there in Boston. I think it was Pasternak's got the only like 2 or 3 wraps around his blade as well. And, you know, sitting up here thinking this blue team is pretty heavy, guys. And this is just my take. I think I have a funny suspicion now they wanted this blue team to be heavy because Jordan Binnington was going to see a lot more shots against some high caliber NHL talent. And that's what we're seeing
good.
right now. And
Very good thought.
He's getting tested a lot by this
Yep.
O'Reilly and Schwartz line, and he's getting peppered with some shots. I know he's allowed the 2 goals, but again, I think he's been sharp against a very, very heavy lineup in blue.
Yep. Good quality, and of course the white team has had some real good chances there on Ville Husso. But yeah, you're right.
By the way, gentlemen, between periods, the newest assistant coach of the St. Louis Blues, Jim Montgomery, walked by our booth, and we were social distance in case you're wondering. But good to have Monty part of the organization, the former head coach of the Dallas Stars, and also a former member of the St. Louis Blues.
Great coach there at DU.
Won a national championship.
Maine Black Bear, Hobie Baker finalist.
Yeah, he's got great credentials, and it's great to see him with the organization, and I noticed that with this American Hockey League season, on hold for Springfield, the team's working out an opportunity to go to Utica, which is Vancouver's team, and so we'll see maybe some of the coaches that were normally in the minors. Jimmy Johnson just going by here. We got J.J. Daniel as well, but we'll see them a lot more up here, and then another group will split the time if everything works out well in Utica to go there. And Utica, by the way, their general manager is none other than former Blue Ryan Johnson. President, former NHLer Robert Esch.
11:30 left here in the third period.
So not an ideal situation for Springfield starting out as a Blue affiliate, but nonetheless an opportunity that the Blues will still get some players playing. And that's the bottom line. You want your players that are developing playing.
Yeah, you have to feel for a lot of these young kids, not only in the professional ranks, but junior hockey, Darren. As we know, the Canadian Hockey League has yet to begin, although the Quebec League did play a bit earlier. So these players, Darren, and you and Joey could speak to this as former NHLers, when you're 19, 20, 21, I mean, those are formative years and critical years in terms of your development.
Well, and I think that for the minor situation this year, whenever you're sharing with another team, the hardest part for these kids is you don't know exactly what system you're going to be playing down there. So it's going to be maybe an adjustment for a lot of these guys in the Blues organization. Maybe in Utica they run more of a Vancouver structure, a Vancouver neutral zone. So when you do get call-ups, it's going to be a lot more teaching. So these, like Jim Montgomery, you're talking about Jimmy and Chief and Otter and Van Ryn. It's going to be a lot of sit-downs. Probably going to be more video with these young guys so they get up to speed and can get kind of tuned up with what they do up at the big club here, because to me that's the biggest disadvantage when you end up sharing a team down the American League.
Yeah, and I know in speaking with Doug Armstrong just the other day, he had mentioned that Gary Agnew, which we know very well here, and one of the great hockey guys, good chance there, great hockey guys, he runs the D there. So he's familiar with this organization and a real good coach too. So that makes everybody excited too, especially when you've got a guy like Scott Perunovich that is going to see some time down there. Maybe it's who knows what other guys. Obviously Mitch Reinke, who's going to be a guy that goes down there, and whether a Wallman or a Mikkola go up and down. So good to have that familiarity anyway.
Yeah, Gary was an assistant coach under Ken Hitchcock when he was the head coach of the St. Louis Blues. Shot in front, they score! Cairo again, set up by Bozak, and it's now 3-0. That was a great pass by Bozak.
Once again, but again, Jordan Cairo, man, that release off his tape, there was no chance whatsoever for Binnington. That was a National Hockey League snapshot right there, and he got into a quiet area. The puck was right on the tape, and again, Bozak's the guy that makes this work with these young wingers, but he and Sanford doing a lot of the grunt work, but I've been really impressed with Jordan Cairo as well, and he needs to be impressive.
Yeah, well, what's most impressive about that whole play was probably what happened 10 seconds before, where Jordan Cairo stepped over the blue line. He kind of ran out of options. He buttoned up. He didn't have much. What did he do? He threw it right off that end boards, right by that Schnucks reward sign. It made a nice little pop off the boards, and that kind of set up the whole offense. And we've seen Jordan Cairo. We've seen a lot of young kids in the progression from junior hockey or college hockey to pros. They have a little bit too much turnover in their game, right?
Yep.
But that was a very mature play. You dump into a spot where you know your teammates can go get it, then go to work, and sure enough, 10 seconds later, they're on the board.
Here's a good move wide by Tyler Tucker. And now we get a whistle and I believe a call from behind from the referee, Tim Peel.
Yeah, and in staying certainly with Jordan Cairo, because what an opportunity that he has had, and a couple of practices ago, Joe, there was a little play where he was in the defensive zone, and his skates were pointed the wrong way. And I mentioned it to JK, and I were up watching it, and the feet were in the wrong spot. And, you know, Craig Berube didn't just brush that over and go to the next drill. He stopped everything, stopped everybody, took him at the right, above the right face-off dot, and explained where his feet were. And you can see Jordan kind of asking, well, I thought it was here. And, you know, I mean, Chief can be firm, but he was in a teaching moment.
Right.
And this situation is going to come up, and your feet are not in the right spot. So let's fix where your feet are going to be in that situation. And I don't know exactly what was said, but I know that was what was being described.
It's nice to have dialogue, though. It's nice to have that. I mean, the communication for these players, especially these young players, they need to be taught that. You know, there's a lot of old school coaches still in this league that don't do that.
Here's shorthanded McEachran, a shot, and that goes high as Gunnarsson is gone for hooking. The Blue with a 3-0 lead on the power play. Again, this third period is brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer.
What a pass by O'Reilly to get that into the zone.
Now Perron back for Krug as the blue team sets it up in the power play. Krug for Perron. He'll drift in, and a shot. That's tipped by Mikkola wide. And now Hoffman out high. Krug around, gets it back. And a low shot looking for the tip. That was off a stick in front. Now Perron to O'Reilly. Wide open Hoffman in the slot, and he fires that high and wide. He was wide open in front. And now David Perron gets it back for the blue team. As they continue on the power play. Perron, top of the circle, in front O'Reilly, and a save by Bennington. Good play down low by Braden Shen. And around now for Hoffman.
Running two different options right here with Hoffman on the other side of the ice and Perron on the right.
Yeah, they're back to their natural sides here.
And then working that down low. Another good play by Ryan O'Reilly. He and Shen down low. Whether it be Shen in the middle and O'Reilly on basically on the paint, it doesn't matter. They're interchangeable, but boy, they complement each other well down low.
Well, and the other thing that really jumps out on that power play right there, I don't think Torrey Krug looked at one player he passed to. Every time he passed the puck, he was looking to a different player. And you mentioned it, Darren, a little bit earlier. If you're out there in a power play with him, you have to be ready for the puck at all times. You never know when it's coming.
He's like Larry Bird.
Larry Bird's a good example.
Yep.
The old Celtic.
Well, he was, oh my goodness. I just saw a highlight thing of Larry Bird. I forgot how good he was, how great he was, excuse me.
The French Lick, Indiana native.
Yep. Man, oh man.
6:50 left here in the third. White team is now back at full strength. The blue team led tonight by Jordan Kyrou's 2 goals, along with O'Reilly's first period power play marker. And it's 3-0. As Justin Falk waits, and his pass up the wall for Curtis McKenzie. Comes around, and now Walker there, stripped of the puck by Shen. Here comes Wallman, in for Sanford. Zach Sanford. In on goal, and what a save by Bennington with the right leg on Sanford.
My goodness. It's too early in the year for that.
Darren, you're so excited right now. You're so loud. The whole white team's looking up here at our booth. That's how quiet this building is.
Holy jumping. What a save.
That was a beauty. That all started, I'm looking at Jake Wallman in front of his own net. In front of his own net, he's assertive. Helping out on the breakout, he set up that whole play. But what a play by Sanford, taking it to the net, and Jordan Bennington sticking with the fight.
Yep, getting that left heel up. I think I maybe pulled a hamstring watching him do that.
And that's an offside, but that's a play that Zach Sanford, with his speed and size, gentlemen, if he can do that, he's going to create a lot of chances.
And I'm not saying the game has changed in a bit, but there's a time when you drove hard to the net and you put your head down, you're going to get smoked from
right.
Weak side defenseman coming in and drilling you. But you have the ability to go hard to the net now, so go hard to the net. Well, so that's one thing. The other part is I want to follow up on your Jake Wallman point, because it was a really good point. There was a time not long ago where he wouldn't have made that pass going through the neutral zone to the man ahead of him.
I agree with you.
He would have kept the puck, and he would have either put somebody offside or he would have painted himself into a corner.
Yes.
And now he's moving the puck ahead and to the right play. The man ahead is going to be faster. You're going to end up making a better decision that way, and putting less pressure on yourself to make a bad decision.
It's an assertive play. You're absolutely right, Darren, because that's the maturity of him. Because I remember plays he'd make like that.
Here's Sundqvist into the empty net. He scores. The blue team had pulled the goalie to try and work on the 6-on-5, and Sundqvist A 190-foot shot into the empty net.
And Carl Gunnarsson, was it Gunnar that put both his hands up in the air? We got one.
He may have gotten an assist on that.
Oh, that's
so
great.
it's 3-1. Although they haven't put the goal on the board, and they continue 6-on-5. Just trying to work on things before Wednesday's opener. Hoffman a drive. And a save by Binnington. And now David Perron gets it back for the Blue. With the goalie off, back for Hoffman. That shot tipped on goal. And a save by Binnington. And he covers. So Sundqvist scores it, guys, but they have not given him that goal.
Well,
so
it almost looks to me on the continuation of that 6-on-5 that we have here that they're saying to themselves, okay, this is one where we've got 10 seconds left. And Hoffman right away took those 2 quick snapshots, Joe.
Yeah.
And just trying to maybe get the defending team off guard because it's not something common that he would do.
I think that there has been times in the last couple seasons where we've had setups like this, 6-on-5 or empty net opportunities. You know, the Blues haven't been all that successful with empty net opportunities. And a lot of it to me was that we didn't have a guy hungry enough just to shoot pucks. Just throw it there. You never know.
I agree.
And to me, I'm watching the power play. I'm watching the 6-on-5, and I see 68 Hoffman out there. And to me, he's a hungry monster. He just wants to throw pucks to the net. And once you have a player like that, everything else can kind of slowly open up.
Yeah.
And now McEachran, another empty netter. As this goes all the way down into the net with 4:46 to go.
Yep.
But I agree, guys. I think a lot of times the Blues, when they pulled that goaltender, they'd work it around, and a lot of nights they just never got the puck on the net.
Right.
It's hard to score if you don't shoot.
Well, there's also an amount of defending hockey sense that you have to have. You have to swarm pucks. You can't allow a team just to walk out and back up like you're going to be a goaltender, supporting an empty net. So, yes, the Blues have had a lot of those situations scored against them. And but in the Stanley Cup winning run, you could see there was a confidence that they had and a swagger when they pulled the goalie, that their mentality was, we are going to tie this game, and it's going to happen. So, but here, the White just scored 2 on the empty net. Now we're going to switch it up and see what we're going to do here. Husso's going to the right. We're switching up the just the ends for the last 4 and a half.
So a little 3-on-3 action here.
Little 3-and-3.
Yep.
So just exactly the way they would do in a game. So you got the long change.
So for the Blue team, Kyrou, Robert Thomas, and Parayko against Sundqvist, Barbashev, and Justin Falk. And they have the score as 3-1 here with 4.5 to go in the third. And Thomas drifts in, working against Falk. Leaves it now for Parayko. He'll feed it back, and the speedy Kyrou gets it. And then Robert Thomas forced back to center ice.
Interesting putting Robert Thomas with, well, I guess with Kyrou and Colton Parayko. Thomas playing primarily, obviously, as we well know, with Hoffman and Schwartz.
I know that Kyrou is a young player, and he's trying to get a top 9 spot on this club, but to me, he's built for 3-on-3, Darren, with his speed.
Yeah. It's hard to run down a gazelle.
Unless you're a lion.
Well, lion, yeah, but lions still got to catch them though, right?
Well, I think it's more of the lioness. I think the females do more of the hunting.
Okay. Joey the Hunter Vitale with some great commentary tonight. Yeah, you have the late Steve Irwin had nothing on you, I'll tell you that.
That's right. That's right.
Now it's Vince Dunn. 3-on-3 here. As the Blue team leads it 3-1. Now for Perron, back to Dunn. On for ROR. Then he pulls up. Nice pass into Perron. What did he have? 3 overtime goals last year, 3-on-3, David Perron? He was a monster.
Yeah, 6 game winning goals last year. A terrific season for David Perron. 25 goals. The Blues had 3 20 or more goal scorers last year. Perron, Shen, and Schwartz. It was 9 game winning goals, for Perron.
Yep.
I had my 6s upside down.
And of course, the Blues finished first in the Central a year ago. Now Vince Dunn comes in and a drive and a glove save by Binnington.
Well, it's going to be interesting, Darren. I remember last year, it was Ryan O'Reilly, David Perron, and Alex Pietrangelo. That was Craig Berube's starting 3, and they were so successful. And with obviously Pietrangelo being gone, it's going to be interesting to see where he goes to it.
Now Shen in front, and a great save by Binnington on Schwartz.
Oh, you can hear that thud from here from his left pad.
Boy, Bennington has been great tonight. 2:19 to go here. And the white team with it. And now it is Clifford back to McEachern. He gains the line with a lane to the net, a shot, and a bouncer scooped up by Husso, and no further action.
That was a nice cutback move by McEachern. Looked like he was going to his right and quickly went to his forehand, and then unfortunately couldn't release that puck quicker. It went off the stick and dribbled into the goaltender, Ville Husso, who has not given up a goal in this game.
Again, this third period brought to you by our good friends at Bud Light Seltzer. The opener is Wednesday from Colorado. That game begins at 9:30. And of course, Joey, you and Chris Kerber will have the call on 101 ESPN. I assume at 9 o'clock, Joey, is that right, or 8:30?
We are going to be on the call, probably an hour pregame show.
So at 8:30 Wednesday.
Yes.
And Darren and I will be back on Fox Sports Midwest Friday night for the second game of the season.
Yeah,
look forward to that.
Yeah, that opener, it's always disappointing when you don't do it. I didn't mind it last year not doing it because you knew they were going to televise the Stanley Cup champions hoisting the banner. So, but in this one, we'll sit back, we'll watch, and we'll get ready for game number 2 in Colorado.
And then a week from tomorrow, the Blues will have their first home game here at Enterprise Center against San Jose. As Zach Sanford gets it. Thomas, what a pass to Parayko. Back to Thomas, and the return feed bounced on Robert Thomas.
Would have been a lot better if Thomas was a left-hand shot. He could have tucked that in, but being a right-hand shot and taking that on his backhand and running out of real estate wasn't perfect for him.
Now stolen, Thomas across, and Hoffman drills it in. And Bennington had no chance on that one as Hoffman from the forward tees blasted that one by Bennington.
Sure did.
Nailed it.
Yeah, he put that high on the tee and just let her rip right there. And it, you know, and it wasn't, as a goaltender, you're anticipating it's going to be either high or it's going to be low, but in that follow-through, you're anticipating it's going to go under the bar and in, but it didn't do any of that. It was a one-quarter probably up the ice, and between the left pad and the glove of a Bennington that was totally exposed there. No chance whatsoever.
It was bang, bang, and what was impressive is when Mike Hoffman passed that first puck, his feet were set right away. He knew he wanted to shoot it. He knew his feet were ready for a one-timer, and Robert Thomas put it anywhere in this kid's wheel kitchen, he's going to fire it like that. Now
Thomas comes in, 25 to go in the third period. And the Blue with a 4-1 lead. As we wind it down 3-on-3. And now Hoffman through the legs on Pagansky.
Long stick Hoffman has, huh?
Yeah, well, you know, you want your goal scorers scoring goals. You want them feeling good.
Yep.
And I know it's a silly goal, it's late, but I tell you what, it probably means a lot to him. He's probably feeling a little bit more now than he was a minute ago. Heading to Colorado for the first game.
4-1 the final here in this inter-squad scrimmage. The Blue team with the victory, led by Jordan Kyrou's 2 goals. We want to thank everybody who watched and listened tonight on YouTube Live, and Darren Pang and Joey Vitale. It was a lot of fun. It was great to be back here at Enterprise Center. We certainly wish the fans were here, but we know the circumstances, and I'm pumped for this season. I can't wait.
Well, John, you're in midseason form already, and I know that it's always a pleasure doing anything with Joe Vitale. I miss our game day lives that we have done for the last year and before games, and things are just going to be changed. I think we just have to all adapt. We have to make sure that we're safe. We have to make sure that we don't put anybody in jeopardy and do the right thing, going by the protocols. And I got to tell you, the NHL has laid out the protocols as great as you can. And so I'm obviously, like everybody else, looking forward to the season. It gives you a little bit of a spark when you look at something. You're at night and you turn on the TV and you can watch a hockey game, and boy, this is going to be some kind of race. This is going to be a sprint from start to game 56.
It's going to be exciting, like you said, Darren, from the get-go, and every team's feeling the same energy right now, and that is if a slow start, you're doomed. I mean, you're doomed if you have a slow start. So the intensity from the get-go, starting on Wednesday in Colorado, it's going to be fun to watch. This is a step in the right direction. I know the building's empty, as you guys were just chatting about, but it's a good step in the right direction. I think this is something everyone's going to keep building on, assuming we can all stay healthy and do what we can do. to all do our part to hopefully see hockey in a full building here soon. But I love seeing this Blues team. No one got hurt. That's the number one most important thing in these last 2 weeks leading into this first game.
Yep.
And it's been a pleasure doing this game with you guys. As always, you guys are true pros and two of the very best in the game. We're very spoiled to have you guys here in St. Louis. I mean that sincerely, and I appreciate you letting me hop on with you guys.
Thanks, Joe.
Joey, thank you very much. You and Curbs bring it to the people on Wednesday night. And Darren, I can't wait till Friday night for our first telecast.
Yeah, can't wait as well, pal. I can't wait. So we'll be listening on the radio side on Game 1. Listen to the boys.
All right, the blue team wins at 4-1. Thanks for joining us tonight on YouTube Live, and we'll see you Wednesday night.